In this program, we've got some dogs, and they all have multiple characteristics that we'd like to display in that label. I don't really want to have separate variables for all the dogs and all the variables. I wish there was a way to group the characteristics of these dogs together into one object, and there is. It's called a structure. We're going to make structures, and inside those structures are groups of variables that come together to really you're making like a new data type. We've had int, string, bool, and now we're making our own data type. We're going to go up to in the namespace, but outside of the class. That's where we're going to do it when we're working on that this year. So it's struct. You don't type the whole word structure, just struct. And then the name of our structure, I'm going to call it dog. And then these braces surround how I'm going to define the dog. I'll say public string, that's the data type, name, that's one of the characteristics. So listing some characteristics of the dog and what data type would be appropriate. Age could be int or double. I made it an int. And then passed obedience school is Boolean. Either it's true or false. The dog has or has not passed obedience school. So those are four variables or four fields, we'll call them also, that are the characteristics of a dog. It's when you have a structure, a lot of times you ask, what is something that this object would have? Now we need to make some instances of dogs. They don't really exist in the structure. That's just a blueprint. But when we say dog, red dog equals new dog with those parentheses, now we've got a dog. And that dog has four characteristics. We're also going to make dog, blue dog equals new dog with parentheses. New is the indicator that we're making these new objects. So now we actually have three dogs. And each one of those three dogs has those four fields or four variables or four characteristics. If we go to form load, we can initialize these dogs. I'll start first with the red dog. So we're going to use dot operators. Red dog dot, and look, the things that we have declared for this structure, Visual C# knows they're there also. So red dog dot name will be Clifford. Red dog dot breed, I really don't know what breed Clifford is. I'll make him a big red. Don't really know Clifford's age, but it's red dog dot age equals, and that will allow us to change the value of the age for red dog. And then red dog dot passed obedience. Clifford gets into a lot of trouble. I'm going to guess that Clifford has not yet passed obedience school. We'll set them up for the other two dogs as well. You can pause the video and do that. Blue, I made her a detective breed. I don't really know what breed Blue is. Made her 4, and she seems pretty well behaved on her TV show, so we'll say she probably passed obedience school. Scooby-Doo is a Great Dane, probably a lot older than 8. And we'll say Scooby has not yet passed obedience school. When we run the program, the idea is that users will select a dog from the combo box, and then we can view information about the dogs. There's some things I should have done to make this program a little more user-friendly, but in the interest of time, that's the way it goes. So when users click on View Current Dog, if a dog has been selected, we want to see all the information about that dog, all four characteristics. So int selected dog is the selected index, which is 0, 1, or 2, or -1 if no dog has been selected. And then new information equals whatever was put into the text box. So LVL information.text, that was that big area you saw in the upper right, that's going to describe the current status of the dog. So red dog dot name will give us the value that the red dog has for its name. I went down to another line after I used the plus sign so it's easier for me to read while I'm coding this. You don't have to do this. You can write it all in one line all the way across. I like to do this so it's easier for me to see how it's going to also look in the label. So I'm using that \n to get a new line. So the breed, red dog dot breed. You use the dot operator to access the fields or the variables or the characteristics of our structures. Red dog dot age, and then red dog dot passed obedience will be true or false. Let's check it out for the red dog is what's set up now, and that's Clifford. There's all four characteristics of Clifford. Again, we use those dot operators to help us access the fields. If no dog is selected, there is a message box that appears to tell the users that they do need to select a dog. Limited on time on these videos, so I paused it really quickly to fill in the rest. You can do the same thing. And now it should work for all 3 dogs. There's Clifford, the red dog. Here comes Blue, the blue dog. And Scooby-Doo, yee, the brown dog. Well, we want to be able to edit these characteristics as well, or edit the fields or edit the variables. Those terms are interchangeable. We actually use the term fields a lot. Same idea. Find out if the selected index is -1, 0, 1, or 2. We're going to call that selected dog, and then we'll use a switch. And reddog.name will equal new information. New information is what was in the text box. So that's going to go into the field name. There it is for all 3 dogs. I should have made it so the text box would clear out after we edited the name. I didn't do that. So I'll type in a new name for Clifford. It'll be Rover. Click Edit Name, and now view the current dog, and Clifford's name has been changed to Rover because the .name field got changed. Here's Blue. If we edit Blue's name, now Blue is Rover. Next, let's edit the breed, which is another one of the fields of our structure. And it will be .breed that allows us to do that. So for case 0, that's going to be the red dog .breed equals new information. I just use the same variable name every time in all these subs. That's what was put into the text box. Same thing for the blue dog and the brown dog. So again, each dog has 4 characteristics, all grouped together. And we'll make Blue a poodle, and changed its name also along the way if you saw how that was happening. So changing the breed seems to work okay. At this point, you might be wondering, we've already learned about arrays and about lists, and you might wonder, can you make arrays or lists of these structure objects? And the answer is yes. I set up all these other methods ready to use switch, just like all the other ones were. But the truth is, we can make an array of dogs also. So I will comment out the dogs we already have, all 3 of them, and we'll make an array of objects of the structure dog. So there's dog, and then the brackets right after it to let us know it's going to be an array of dog. I'll call it dogs, and it equals new dog, and then in the brackets I'll put how many dogs there's going to be, which is 3. Hopefully that looks familiar from our earlier work in arrays. We've done it with int, we've done it with string. We can do it with a dog. Now I've got to come down here and change these to reflect that it's an array now. So red dog is now actually dog 0, or dogs 0. So dogs at index 0 dot name would be Clifford. So everywhere it says red dog, that's going to be dog 0. All of blue dog will be dogs 1, and all of brown dog will be dogs 2, or dogs index 2. And there they are, all changed. If you need to pause the video, go ahead. Again, I'm limited on time on these videos. Now I've got some work to do back up here. There's no longer a red dog, blue dog, or a brown dog. But everything is referred to by these numbers, 0, 1, and 2. We'll be able to cut all that down into one thing. We're going to need that error message, though, just in case users don't select a dog. So I'll copy that. And then get rid of everything else. Although you'll see later on that was maybe not the smartest move. And we'll use an if. If the selected dog does not equal -1. If it did equal -1, that means nothing was selected in the combo box. So if it doesn't equal -1, we're okay. If it does equal, otherwise, if it does equal -1, no dog was selected, and that's where the error message needs to go. But wow, I wish I'd have taken that stuff from the LBL information thing. So I actually pause the video and use undo to get back to that point and copy it and bring it back to paste it. The magic of editing, here it is. But those need to be now dogs. It's an array. And then the index that goes inside the bracket is, well, whatever dog they picked, that's selected dog, which is going to be either 0, 1, or 2. Whatever they picked on line 42, that went into the variable selected dog. So everywhere it says red dog, it's going to be dogs with the index selected dog. And then it doesn't matter which dog got selected, 0, 1, or 2. I cut down on a lot of code. All right, I'll copy and paste this down in btn name edit underscore click. It'll help us a little bit, because we can get rid of this entire switch structure here. And we don't need all that LBL information stuff. We just simply need to change the name of the dog that's been selected. So in our array, that's dogs with an index of selected dog. Again, it's 0, 1, or 2. Dot name, there's that dot operator again, equals new information. That's what they typed in the text box. I'm going to copy and paste this down into breed because it's almost the exact same thing. The only thing that's going to be different, it's going to be dot breed instead of dot name. Again, these dot operators, and you see how Visual C# shows by default some of our choices. They're the ones that we defined when we created our structure. All right, let's see how this is going. Yep. We could have maybe even changed in the combo box these values to 0, 1, and 2 if you wanted. Clifford's been selected. He's in the 0 spot, so we change the name to Rover. And well, we'll make it St. Bernard's a big dog. We don't want to make Clifford too uncomfortable with the new name. And there it is, it works. I'll copy this and paste it again into btn obedience school status, which is going to be a toggle switch. Whenever they click that button, it's going to change the true false nature of whether or not the dog has been to obedience school, or actually passed obedience school. Showing up is not good enough. You actually have to pass. So if dogs, that's our array, selected dog, that's our index, dot passed obedience is true. Now I could put double equals true there, but I don't have to. We can just say if the dog has passed obedience school, or we thought it did, we're going to switch that now. This is a common strategy to switch the true-false nature of something. If it's true, make it false, else make it true. So if it was true, now it's false. If it was false, now we're going to make it true. But what we're making true is dogs, our array, and the index we need is selected dog. That happened on line 121. It's whatever index the dog was that they got in the combo box. And we'll change that dog's past obedience characteristic to true. If it was false, it will be true. If it was true, it will be false. Again, a common strategy to be able to switch something back and forth. We've seen it earlier in the year with a couple of other programs. Well, let's check it out. We'll go to blue. Blue, we thought had passed obedience school, but now we'll change it. Turns out it was a fake diploma. Oh, no, upon further research, it actually did happen. All right, one more thing to take care of is the age, but we're running out of time on this video, so I'm just going to very quickly show you what I did to make age work. So it's going to come up very quickly. Had to use try parse, of course, but the key thing is on line 103, the dot age. That dot operator allowed us to change the age. It equals new dog age.